Good morning, St. John's. I hope you're doing well. Years ago, when I was fresh out of college, I happened to be in conversation with this one pastor who said something that I found very intriguing. He said that every Sunday he has somebody from either the church community or outside of the community come and just give a very brief, during the service, presentation about one way that they take the gospel and they translate it into life, whether it's translating it into their work environment, or as pastors into their church, or as missionaries into the mission field, or whatever it is. So he says that he just exposes the congregation. It's just a different way that the gospel is being translated into real life. Social justice, whatever it is. And he said that he knows that for most of the congregation, most people are going to say, oh, that was really interesting. Wow, I never knew that. But there might be that one person in church that Sunday who hears that and says, that's what I've been waiting on. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life. And he says that if it's just for that one person to find their thing, and then the whole thing is worth it. And I remember thinking to myself, that is amazing what the power of exposure can do, and how a church can be really helpful to its congregation by facilitating these types of exposure, where you are going outside of maybe what you usually think about, and you're just sitting there and listening to something, or interacting with a subject matter or a particular field where you wouldn't have otherwise been exposed. And you never know how God is going to use that. It might be that you just learn and you become a more evolved human being just by virtue of being there. But also there's this chance, if you're in a kind of a season of saying like, hey, what's next for me? Where do I want to direct my energy? That it might be that right there, you might hear something and go, yes, that clicks for me. So that's kind of our hope at St. John's when we expose you to adult forums or these town halls that we've been doing this year as a part of our 150th. And we have one coming up on the 21st of January, 21st of this month. And it is a town hall. It's on a Sunday afternoon from 1 to 2:30. We're going to have a panel of speakers. And the heart of this town hall is about how to continue kind of this movement of making our local community more embracing of LGBTQIA members and issues. And, for most of us, we're pretty progressive, we're like, you don't have to convince me to kind of be more welcoming on this subject, kind of journeyed that road. Yes, but there's still so much to be exposed to. And these are people that we're going to have speaking to us who have dedicated their lives in many ways to this subject. There's so many new things to learn. There are stories to hear. And things that might actually energize us and make us go, yes, this is really important to me. And this is one of those subjects that we can't afford to sleep on. And our country and our community still have so far to go in being welcoming and inclusive. So we come together to hear these stories and to expose ourselves to the reality of others. Now, I do want to share this one kind of piece for me that I've noticed in my own life, is that I tend to be really excited to attend speaking engagements that have to do with subjects that feel really alive for me right now. So like, right now with Israel-Palestine, what's happening, I'm like really interested in attending things that have to do with that subject. But then when there are other things that maybe are not very alive for me right now, I'm like, oh, I don't need to go to that. But here's the thing. There are people in our community for whom that is actually what's alive for them. And they are looking for others to be in it with them, to bear witness with them. And so when there are subjects that come up that we might find ourselves, well, I'm not really interested in that necessarily right this second. What we might also do is attend just because we know that it matters to others in our community. So we're going to actually, on the 21st, have a bunch of young people from our church school participating in this. They're going to be there, maybe sitting at some of the tables where there's resources, and they're showing up because this subject matters to them. There might be others in our church community who are showing up, or local community, because they themselves are a part of the LGBTQIA community, and they are wanting to kind of hear about what's kind of being done proactively to make this community more welcoming, But believe me, they're also looking around and saying, who else cares about this? And if we don't show up, that also sends a message. So I hope that we'll pack the place just with our physical bodies as a testimony to those around us who are impacted very much so by this subject, that we would show that we care about this, because that sends that message that this is important to us. And it takes it beyond just the education to kind of the heart space of you're in the right place at St. John's. So I hope that you'll make the effort. Let's learn. Let's really engage this subject as we do others. And I hope that you'll be there. And I trust that God, in God's own way, will have something in that conversation just for you that you need to know, and that will stimulate you in a beautiful way. Maybe even create some connection between your own life and reality and this subject that is very relevant right now. God bless you, St. John's. Thanks for listening to your pastor ramble on again. I share these things with you because I think that they matter. And I thank you always for being who you are and for listening and having an open heart and open mind. God bless you. I'll see you on Sunday.